kicks the pain we can't hush. And MMA finest, we're the real tough guys, breaking down barriers, we aim for the skies. Into the octagon like a warrior stand, slaying blows, taking hits as I command. The art of combat, I'm ready to go. Submission, knockout, that's how I flow. Unleashing the fury like an untamed beast, locked in a cage where strength is released. Striking precision, grappling with my golden octagon. The stage we ignite. Unleashing the fury like an untamed beast, locked in a cage where strength is released. Striking precision, grappling like the golden octagon. The stage we ignite.
And we are live. Welcome to the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast with your hosts, Matt and D Rose.
And what's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast. My name is Matt. D Rose is on that side of the screen. I hope, and I'm sure D Rose hopes as well, you are all having a fantastic Wednesday. Thank you all for joining us right here today on the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast, number 151. And I got to be honest, D Rose, the fights this weekend are, dude. I mean, we just had a pay-per-view. We just had a pay-per-view, and it's usually not the best after a pay-per-view, but this is a rough weekend, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's like I couldn't care less about the main event, and that's like the star of the show, what the UFC wants everyone to see. I'm like, I am excited for like one fighter, two fighters on the card, one or two fights I think I may be ready to bet on, but man, I'm usually locked and loaded by this time. I got like 3 or 4, 5 parlays locked and loaded, ready for the props to drop. Dude, this weekend, I'm like, shit, dude, I might keep my money in my pocket because next weekend is UFC London, dude. In the past 2 years, UFC went to London. I have cashed a 10-leg and a 12-leg parlay. So hoping to make it 3 years in a row, I can come out. Maybe I'll put a $20 parlay this year, and we'll see what happens. But, yeah, man, I'm excited to get in, talk about the show. We love talking about the fights. How have you been over the past weekend, man?
Man, no, things have been great. Things have been kind of on the up and up. I like that comment there from Dave. That's why I had to end up laughing. The 460 credit scores. Hey, those be the rough ones. Hey, but hey, you get those done. Hey, that's where your bread gets buttered. Where we're at over there. That turns into good repeat business after a while. So hey, we gotta appreciate it. But no, things have been great. Coming off a pretty good pay-per-view, from this past weekend. I heard a lot of people kind of crapping on the card, but I mean, me personally, I thought it was a great card, from beginning to end for the most part. I mean, the card started off with an absolute banger of a fight on the prelims. And I thought there were a lot of good performances on the main card as well. So good fight card overall from this past weekend. As you said, this one coming up this coming up weekend, yikes, boy. It's rough. This is one of the roughest cards I've seen. And I try to be a little bit more optimistic about some of these cards just because, hey, I'm going to end up watching it anyway. But gosh, it's hard to find any type of optimism. I mean, a lot of names that, I'm not going to lie, I had to, do second and third looks on some of these just to, make sure who they even were and stuff like that. And yeah, it's going to be a rough one this weekend, boys, for sure.
All right. So with that being said, appreciate all y'all stopping by. Hit that thumbs up button for your boys if y'all haven't already. We're going to get into our UFC 313 recap. me and D-Rose are going to give you our or some UFC news and fight announcements that has been announced over the past week. And then lastly, as we were just talking about it, this weekend's fights, UFC Vegas 104, Marvin Vettori versus Roman Dolidze. And I need to edit that real quick, right? Here, let me take this off. Let me edit it because D-Rose's favorite thing to add. Let me add it and pop it back up on there. Two. The fight that I guess we all wanted it. I don't know. We're gonna give you our preview and our picks for that entire card. But before we do all that,
I don't know if I could find anyone who wanted that fight. To be fair, besides whoever the matchmaker was who made this fight, and Marvin Vettori and Roman Dolidze. Other than that, there's nobody who wanted this.
I saw like an interview. Like when Marvin Vettori got the call, he said he heard the name Roman. He was like, Kapilov? He was like, it's kind of a big jump up for him. He was like, no, Dolidze. He's like, I just fought him. It was like 3 fights ago. Yeah, it was pretty odd. But let's get into the chat, D-Rose. We got Austin dropping his Duolingo lessons in here. We got he was saying happy Wednesday. What is D-Rose saying? He said, so basically D-Rose's can't wait to see D-Rose's smile. It shines with brilliance. And then let's go. Austin, I can barely speak English, says Dave. Austin says we are much alike, a B&B guy. Yeah. I'm done.
Austin killing it with the Google Translate.
Dave says that he does not understand. D-Rose looking like he's been dealing with 460 credit scores all week. Oh, no.
Something like that.
No. We got Antoine in here with the yo. Let's go, boys. What's up, Antoine? We got WBC Gunner in here with the yo. Antoine, hope you all had a great week. Always look forward to this when I wake up on Wednesday. Hell yeah, Antoine. Thank you for the kind words.
Let's go.
1 million down payment, $1,000 a month at 30%. Oh, Kia Stinger fully loaded though. Yeah, Antoine said that I actually think there's some solid fights there with the Blackshear fight. Yeah, we'll get into it. The Hellcat of Kia's. What happened in the what happens in the light heavyweight division from here? Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be boring. I'll tell you that. Bro, I've only been to Mexico like one time, but I learned to speak Spanish so well. So many people in America speak it now. I feel you, Antoine. My fiance's entire family, they basically just speak Spanish. So kind of have to be translating through her. So it would help me a lot if I understood it fully. But I'm learning. It's tough. I'm 30, dude. It's hard to learn a new language when you're 30.
Coming along.
Yeah. If any of you guys like the Lakers, I got a writing gig covering them. Just Google Lakers lead NBA. Hey, that's what's up, Antoine. Shout out.
Damn, Antoine, that's what's up, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Hell yeah, that's awesome, bro.
Up, dude. Yeah.
For the Lakers too, of all teams. Man, y'all lucky bastards got Luka, man. I'm a Mavericks fan, so I'm still hurt about it.
All right, heroes. All right. So let's get into it. The fights from this past weekend, real quick. Let's get the banner pulled up, and then we'll get into our UFC 313 recap. Alex Pereira versus Ankalaev, dude. I think, first of all, Ankalaev won via decision. I don't think it was a robbery, dude. I think we all knew when that fight was over deep down that we were going to need some shenanigans to happen for Alex to win, dude, because it just didn't seem like he had done enough to win that fight. And then, you kind of got to thinking, maybe he won 1, 3, and 5. And then when the judges started announcing the score, you just heard the 49-46. And I was like, nope, there it is. So, Magomed Ankalaev does win via decision. I see a lot of people, saying Alex didn't perform. Maybe the fame got to him so much. He was in Australia 2 weeks ago, cornering Sean Strickland, yada, yada, yada. And it's like, man, the the guy's been a champion now for a couple years and kept defending it over and over. Maybe he just needed some time off and he just didn't take it. But at the same time, Ankalaev's a good fighter. He's not exciting in the slightest, but you can't say he's not a good fighter. And going to be tough to beat just because the way that he fights, and especially as a champion now, it's like good luck, because I think the judges are always going to kind of favor the champion. So with that being said, I don't really know where Alex goes from here. I kind of want to see him just do, fun fights. He's 37. For Ankalaev, dude, I know he's already kind of talking shit about Yuri, but Yuri Prochazka is my guy, and he will melt any motherfucker not named Alex Pereira, dude. So, give me Yuri Prochazka versus Ankalaev next. You can give that to me because I know Yuri will make Ankalaev fight. I don't know how the fight goes because, Ankalaev's a big dude. He's got power, and he's not afraid to use his wrestling. So I guess we'll see if that happens. But I guess, what are your thoughts on the fight as a whole, and what do you think happens next with each of the fighters?
Yeah, I thought it was a good performance from Ankalaev. Of course, we had the fight stream over this past weekend, and we both were riding Alex Pereira to get the job done, and unfortunately he was not able to do that. I mean, I do think a lot of it was because for Alex Pereira to get it done, just because we know that Magomed Ankalaev is a champion, while he is a very talented, very skilled fighter, is not going to deliver big time on a lot of these performances. It's going to take a lot to get a lot out of him, unfortunately. But I do think that he did end up winning the fight. Some people thought Alex might have won 1-3-5. I mean, I remember when we were watching the fight together and DC had said going into that fifth round, it was 2-2. And I even said right there and then, I told you, I don't know what world you're in, DC, but I clearly think it's 3-1 right now, Ankalaev. And I felt strongly about that. Went back and I even, watched a little bit more of it just to make sure. And yeah, I still felt good about Ankalaev winning that third round, just because I thought that, Alex, I think statistically it landed a little bit more, but Ankalaev did have, it was like I think it was one of another big left that he had landed. He was hitting Alex with a bunch of those teep kicks, and then he had a little bit more of the wrestling control. Of course, he didn't take him down, but just clinch against the fence. I think he ended up having that time that kind of helped him secure that third round. And Ankalaev fought a smart fight. I mean, he fought a smart fight, and he didn't really even take Alex down. He really just forward pressured and used his striking like he said he would. And he ended up beating Alex Pereira. My biggest thing is that I just thought, and I said it during the stream and I'll say it again, Alex Pereira not really using his boxing as much, not using his hands. It just seemed like he just kept kind of backing up and was wanting to try to crush Ankalaev with the leg kicks and then try to maybe, catch him after he hurts him. But, Ankalaev did end up defending them, checking them, or just kind of getting just out of the way of the leg kicks enough to where he wasn't taking all the damage to the legs after the first round. And it just looked like Alex Pereira almost just I'm not going to say he gave up, because obviously in the fifth round, he went out there and did his thing, but he just almost seemed kind of content with the result there for a little bit in certain situations. And I just thought that him not throwing his hands enough is really what ended up costing Alex Pereira.
Fair, man. I have to agree, dude, just because it's almost like he kind of went there like with a game plan of he's like going to try to win the fight. Well, like with just leg kicks, man. It was kind of odd to see.
Yeah, no, it very much was. I mean, honestly, what I think is next is, I mean, personally, I just think they're probably going to end up doing the rematch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just seems like that. Alex is the biggest star at this point. He really did the UFC favors last year for taking a bunch of fights on shorter notice against this opponent at this time, and we got to rush your. He injured his toe. They rushed him to come back for UFC 300. And now, obviously, Alex got a lot of star rub coming off of that. And I think that's what's going to end up propelling him to get this rematch, just because they're going to want to end up getting basically most bang for their buck in terms of the title fight. And obviously I love Yuri, but I just think in terms of star power, obviously Alex is one of the bigger stars right now in the sport. And I think him doing the UFC a bunch of favors last year, I think they're in turn going to give Alex a rematch. I mean, I don't think it's out of the world of possibility that Alex could beat him in the rematch, but I got to imagine that Ankalaev is going to be probably every bit of minus 190, minus 200 range when that fight opens.
Yeah, I would probably agree. How do you think like the next one goes? Like, would you still go Alex, or would you change to Ankalaev this next time?
I mean, honestly, it's just going to really depend. I would not be surprised if they tried to get them to headline the Abu Dhabi card. Coming up in October. They always end up making that trip. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to bring one of their biggest cash cows over there. It's just hard telling when you go over there, man. Just in terms of how the fight plays out or anything. Excuse me.
Yeah, you didn't mute it. like I heard you click something. I was like, I don't know he clicked, but he didn't mute it.
Yeah, no, I tried to reach, but yeah, I did not get it in enough time. Unfortunately. But yeah, taking those fights in Abu Dhabi, man, you never know how those fights are going to go. We've seen Renan Fakardinov versus Carlos Leal. We've seen results like that before. So Abu Dhabi, man, a little tough, but of course I'm going to be rooting for Alex either way.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. So we'll move on to the co-main event. Basically, the only bet that me and you hit from the cheese wheel this past Friday is change to cheddar. I went Justin Gaethje 3-or decision. It was the only one that hit because the Curtis Blades fight fell off. It was the only one that you hit because the Curtis Blades fight fell off and because Mauricio Hoofy did not start round 2 versus Bobby Green. But we'll get into that one next. So me and you both do cash on our change cheddar will bets. Justin Gaethje wins via decision, dude, and it pretty much went just like the last fight. Maybe Fiziev was a little bit less beat up. I also heard him say after the fight that he plans on dropping down to 145, and dude, he could be a problem down at 145 because he's got knockouts up at 155. So I guess we'll see. What's your thoughts on the co-main event? Did anything surprise you?
No. I mean, just because I told you, I'm not normally that confident in placing big money bets. I threw 50 at Justin Gaethje because I was very confident that, he was going to get the job done, just as I was in the first fight. I was really surprised that Fiziev coming in short notice, off an injury, already lost to Gaethje, that he was the favorite. I mean, all the cards were in Gaethje's favor. And plus, when they line up against one another, there's just a clear size difference between the two. I can see why Fiziev would question going down to 145 because, I mean, let's be fair. I mean, Gaethje's kind of tall, but he's not the biggest 155er. He's always admitted that he hasn't really cut that much weight to make 155. So he's, I would say he's got his weight cut down to a point to where he's got enough muscle on now, but he's not a big dude. And he kind of towered over Fiziev a little bit. So I think he was able to use, a little bit of his manpower there in those clinch exchanges, especially when Gaethje was able to grab the back of his head and throw that uppercut. Dude, the one in the second round when Gaethje literally slips both the punches and then just grabs them and wham, like it might just look like, I know James Vick called Justin Gaethje Homer Simpson at one point in time, but it might look kind of clunky. But, dude, there's a method to the madness when it comes to Justin Gaethje and his style. I just knew that it was going to be a problem for Fiziev. And, again, just as Gaethje, just as jabs and those uppercuts, man. The jab and the uppercut are his two most deadly weapons on the feet when it comes to the hands. And, of course, his leg kicks are dangerous as well, but man, when he's landing that jab and then he's throwing that uppercut right behind it, oh man, it is an absolute thing of beauty. And I thought it was a great fight overall. And I think it definitely deserved the fight of the night honors.
Fair enough. All right. Feature fight of the night was Ignacio Bahamondes taking on the Tarantula, Jalen Turner. Me and you were both on Ignacio Bahamondes, I believe. Yes, we were. This was one where the fight basically went how I thought it was going to go. Just I didn't expect an early of a submission from Ignacio Bahamondes because I did call Ignacio round 3 sub Friday, change to cheddar. But I just, I guess for me, it just sucks to see Jalen go out like this because it almost kind of seems like he was like 1 foot out the door before even walking out there, dude. Like I heard him say like he was going to leave it up to this fight, that if he won, then he was going to keep doing it. But if he lost, he was going to hang it up. And it's like, dude, that's no way to go into a fight, because it's like, yeah, like you're almost like 1 foot out the door, like right there. So after it came out, he retired, but he kind of left the door cracked a little bit, saying, maybe it's not the end, dude. But I don't think it's the best look, dude. He didn't ever really seem to be like 100% like in the game. Like it was almost kind of like he did it because he was good at it, opposed to him like wanting to do it. So hopefully Jalen Turner goes off and finds, future endeavors that treat him well. And if not, I'm sure he'll be, very well welcomed back in the fight game, because he's still like 28, 29 years old. So still young. Maybe just take a few years off. I don't know, man. What's your thoughts on the fight, and then where Jalen Turner goes from here, man?
I think, good performance from Ignacio Bahamondes for him to be able to get the submission off his back like that. We always known about Ignacio Bahamondes' striking, but now we got to worry about his grappling as well. Now he's going to be even that more of a dangerous guy. And, I told you that, Bilal Muhammad just always raves about, how great of a striker he is and just how great of a fighter he is. And it does look like Ignacio Bahamondes is starting to really kind of hone in that ability and that momentum, or not really momentum, but the hype that he had kind of came in with early in his UFC career. He's starting to put all the skills together now. He's got the IQ. And he had even admitted that just having Bilal Muhammad in his corner, he said, you got a UFC champion in your corner, willing to go out here and go and fight with you. It basically holds him to a higher standard in performing. So, it really brought out another level in Ignacio Bahamondes, and you can see it in his performances. So good fight from him. I love the call out of Renato Moicano. I think that's honestly that's perfect matchmaking, just in terms of what you want to see next. Young up and coming star versus a older guy vet, can work his way on the mic, popular guy as well, and still going to be a tough fight for Ignacio Bahamondes as well. Perfect call out. And for Jalen Turner, I'm with you, man. He's young, got a lot of talent, man. So I'd hate to see him just step away. As I told you, I thought that, once he took that step up in competition a little bit is when he kind of, saw holes poked in his game. But the only thing that sucks about MMA is that when you go up to the top, especially in the UFC, it's like you're stuck there. You can't rank back down in terms of oh, okay, I'm ranked number 10. Let me fight this unranked guy or whatever. It's almost like you have to fight these killers after killers, either somebody surging or somebody in the top 10 who's already, a well-established person. So, there was no kind of gimme fight for Jalen Turner to kind of get back in there, get comfortable again. But glad to see that, I know he turned a new leaf in terms of religion and stuff like that too. So glad to see him kind of get into touch with that side in his life and, being able to be comfortable with his decision to walk away.
Yeah, man. How do you guys think betting odds look? Makachev versus Gaethje. Not going to be good. Not good for Gaethje.
Minus 300. Yeah, minus 300 plus for Islam easy. Open.
Yeah, extremely sad.
Is on minus 4 something at least.
Yeah. But. I think he stays retired. Unfortunately, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me too much. And we got Taz saying, "What's up, goofballs?" Apparently, we're some goofballs, D-Rose. Goofballs
goofing it up.
Yeah, I guess so.
Goofing it up, big goofers, goofy goober.
Yeah, I think he should go to welterweight. It's sad knowing he was this close to beating Renato. I know, man, but I mean, we saw what happens at welterweight. Him versus Vicente Luque. It's like there's some big guys up there too. I was glad double chance Ignacio, and then but CD Rose, what makes the ultimate only dude's massive win streaks and fight for the belt most of the time.
You're right. That's what it is. You can't, if you're again ranked in the top 10, you can't fight down. You're occupying the top 10 ranking. You need to either advance or give a surging up and comer a chance, and that's the cruel part of the sport that nobody really talks about.
Yeah, man. All right, moving on down. One of the ones for the pick champ of the week, Amanda Lemos versus Yasmin Lucindo, dude. And basically, Amanda Lemos did to Yasmin Lucindo what I thought Yasmin Lucindo was going to do to Amanda Lemos. Like, Amanda Lemos, you used her wrestling chops against Yasmin Lucindo. Cheated about the fight was 15 minutes long. I say Amanda Lemos cheated a solid 7 of those minutes by grabbing the fence. Like, she would be on top and then grab the fence, where Yasmin can't get up because she's pinned to the ground now. Kind of unfortunate to see, but that's the ref job to stop it, and ref didn't stop it. Amanda Lemos wins via decision in the PBF of the week. Anything here, man?
Yeah, it was definitely the PBF. That's about it. A good win from Amanda Lemos. I thought Yasmin Lucindo, as I told you, a little bit of a big step up in competition for her. But dude, it just goes to show how rough women's MMA is right now. Just in terms of like the matchmaking and everything, man. I felt like and I still feel like to a certain extent that that 125 women's flyweight has a little bit of an opportunity. For me personally, that was the UFC's chance to move on from a boring champ like Valentina Shevchenko, to keep Alexa Grasso as your champ and then have her move forward as your champion. But you bring Valentina Shevchenko back into the fold. Look, I'm sorry. She's a great champion, all-time great, but her fights are boring. Let's just face it. And outside of Wei Li, for the most part, I mean, you just don't really see that many entertaining women's fights anymore. And we
got one this weekend. We got one this weekend, baby. We got one this weekend.
That is your girl. Hey, but even like Lemos, who used to deliver on big performances, dude, even she
was ass this past weekend.
Yeah, like, she's wrestling and just not really putting up an entertaining fight. So yeah, that was just kind of my biggest overall takeaway, was that. Yeah, it's in women's MMA is in a rough spot right now, and man, just some of the matchmaking and stuff like that, it's been rough as of late.
Yeah, and one of the questions. So moving on down, to follow up on, I think it was a question you asked me maybe 2 weeks ago. Maybe it was from the chat. Was that the knockout of the year? And so far, we were like, yeah, I guess so. It's been early, but we have a new knockout of the year between Mauricio Hufi and King Green now. Mauricio Hufi hits Bobby Green with one of the nastiest, most cleanest spinning wheel kicks in the first round that we probably ever seen, dude. It couldn't have landed cleaner. Bobby Green was out as soon as it landed, and then he just kind of just crumbled over, no follow-up shots needed. Mauricio Hufi, round 1 wheel kick knockout. I believe the Rose, it was the 5th in history, not the 15th. I think they added another
number onto it.
Yeah,
but they had it on the graphic, so I wasn't tripping when I said it.
Yeah.
But you are right. They did show the 5 in history before, so you are right. They did show the 5. But yeah, I just thought it was funny that the UFC graphic had 15, because I was like, yeah, there's no way.
There's no way they said 15. There's no way there's 15 wheel kick knocks out. It just seems like way too much.
Way too many. You see all those on the highlight reels talking about the UFC,
right? Not the same one over and over for the next 4 years until it happens again. Now we're going to see this one until someone else does it.
Yeah, exactly. But no, you're right, dude. One of the nastiest knockouts. And, I didn't want to scream out too loud on the stream because I didn't want to ruin it. But yeah, I was like, oh! It's like, I was trying to hide my expression, but whoa, dude! That was just absolutely incredible. Just the way that he set that up. He acted like he was going to throw the left hook. King Green slips, throws the spinning heel kick, and Bobby's kind of bringing his head back up a little bit, just perfectly heel right behind the ear. Perfect knockout, man. And as you said, knockout of the year. It was me who asked. I was asking about Ricky Simone versus Javid Basharat.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, let's be fair. That that was
Yeah,
brutal. So
that was brutal.
I mean
too,
I mean it's definitely going to be in the contention for knockout of the year, Rick Eastman and Jaffa Bashaw. But for right now, yeah, that Mauricio Hoofy, that spinning heel kick to the dome, perfect. The angle that they showed initially on, when we were watching it, it didn't look like it landed as hard. It looked like it clipped. But when you go back and watch the replay of when it was front facing for King Green, dude, you can see his head literally just snap as soon as that kick landed, and watch Green just crumble like a tree. Absolutely picture perfect KO, man. That was beautiful.
Yeah. Hoofy already made merchandise of the head kick on Full Violence. Indeed. I might have to
how about the fighting nerds always having like the perfect poses, like after their knockouts and stuff like that?
Right.
Like with Jones Silva with the look down
hands
on a
like,
Meltzer Bagdasarian, and then Hoofy's got his hands on his hips, looking at King Green.
Like Vinicius Oliveira always stands with his hands straight up.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, those dudes, they got the most badass, like picture perfect knockout picture moments after the knockout. They're badass, man.
Yeah, I might have to get me a fighting nerd shirt. Maybe I got to hit one of these damn bets first, dude, because these past couple of weeks, we've been so close, like a couple weeks in a row, so close from like really cashing out a lot, dude. But just coming down to one thing, couple weeks in a row, just breaking me. Is Bobby done for after this one? The wild thing is he said he's not. And think about this: Jalen Turner retired before Bobby Green after their fight happened. Think about their fight happening, and then thinking Jalen Turner retires before Bobby Green does. Like, you're like, what?
Considering Jalen Turner killed Bobby Green 3 times during that fight.
Yeah. Vinicius mannerisms remind me of Spider Monkey.
That's not bad. That's not a bad comparison. That's not bad.
Yeah. All right. Moving on down. The rest of the fights, prelims. We did have 2 fights canceled. So Curtis Blades got canceled, and Chris Gutierrez versus John Castaneda got canceled as well. Josh Van beats Ray Saruya via decision. Me and you both called that, and that was your side of the I'm sorry. Yeah, that was your side of the podcast play of the week, and my side of the podcast play of the week was Mauricio Hoofy knockout. So our podcast play of the week ends up cashing again, second week in a row that cashes. So can we make it 3? We'll see. Anyway, so Josh Van wins via decision. Bruno Ferreira was our second fight for the pick champ. He does win via second round submission. Who called Bruno Ferreira second round armbar, man? Like, I thought he was going to knock him out, but dude, I kept like making fun of it last week about how, Armin Petrosyan got double fisted and such, dude, but I think he's just not a good fighter. Like, he's an all right fighter if he's going up against a striker that's going to keep it on the feet, dude. But if you're going to wrestle that dude at all, you might as well just go ahead and bet the other fighter, because Armin Petrosyan, once he's on the ground, he turns to Manel Kopp after he loses a split decision. He doesn't know what's going on. What am I doing down here? Like, it's absolutely wild, man. Let's see what you guys got to say. Okay, that's where we're at. Man, it's the monkey thing. I can't let go. It's different when the check clears. Oh, the money thing. Yeah, I bet because Bobby Green probably gets paid quite a bit. So, and he likes to come to the press conferences with a fucking cell phone fucking money and like 50 chains. Like, Bobby, stop buying all the chains, and you don't need to bring 50 grand in cash with you to the press conference. You can't talk to anyone on the other end. Like, it's weird. The CTE's got to him at this point. He's gotten knocked out. So the next press conference, he's going to be like, "Hey, I'm trying to." Like, Bobby, you got knocked out. Quit talking to the phone.
Well, the problem with Bobby is that the problem with King Green, I'll call him by his name, King Green, is he's not going to be like your accountant. And he's not going to be, he's not going to be a cashier. He's not going to be a public-facing person for the most part. You know what I mean? So yeah. I mean, what else would he be doing other than fighting? So yeah. It's no surprise to me to see King Green still hanging on.
Yeah, I got you. So anyway, Brenner Pereira, round 2 sub. That was in the pick champ for the week, so I hit that one. And the last one, I offered you so many outs here, D Rose, and I was like, "Are you sure? Are you sure that you want to do this to yourself?" It was Carlos Leal versus Alex Morono, dude, and when that fight started, man. It was right after the Francis Marshall and Myron Santos robbery, but we'll get to that next. But I was so that fight just ended, and then we were gonna run up the food line to grab some energy drinks for her because she was about to fall asleep, dude. And so I was watching this in my truck. She walks into food line, and I'm just watching it like this on my phone, just feeling so bad for Alex Morono that he's just getting walked down and dude, it was almost like Carlos Leal had like 2 bricks in his hand, like was holding 2 bricks and we're just like fucking wonking Alex Morono every single time. And it's like Alex Morono was trying to throw back. He would bounce off the fence and, come out with his fucking weird ass hooks.
Great punch.
And just Carlos Leal just fucking ducks and fucking digs to the body again and starts just beating the shit out of him. I felt so bad for Alex Morono. It's like, who allowed this? But to be fair, the line for this was -700 last week when we did the podcast. So it's like, I offered you that out, but you were confident in Alex Morono. But man, Carlos Leal just beats the ever-loving shit out of Alex Morono, dude. Anything on this fight, dude? Round 1 knockout, Carlos Leal.
Hey, to be fair, I told you I wasn't super confident. I just wasn't confident in Leal because I was like, hey, how good is he really? I was like, if he's off the cycle now, is he really going to be good anymore?
No, he's not off the cycle.
Yeah,
there's no USADA anymore.
Yeah, he is not off the cycle. And yes, that dude is good. Yes, that dude is absolutely good, man. Just the way that he was able to throw his hands in there. Yeah, it was after the first couple punches that he landed against Alex Morono. I was like, oh yeah, this is going to go bad quick. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't, but for just the first couple. And again, when Alex Morono is just bouncing off the cage and just throwing the straight punches, then that's the funniest shit ever. Like, and the worst part was he was landing. Dude, like, I mean, let's go, baby. Like, because I'm not going. I threw like $3 on it. It was like 3 to win like 20 or something like that. Like, it wasn't even anything crazy. But I was like, come on, dude. I was like, come on, Alex. He's sitting there just fucking winging them punches and shit. And but no, yeah, I call it to y'all. Once he just kept landing to the body, I was like, oh yeah, this is all but over. Honestly, the fight went on longer than it should have. It should have been stopped 20 minutes before. It felt like he beat his ass.
It shouldn't have been sanctioned, dude. Like, who put this fight together?
Dude, it looked like 2 different levels of fighters. You ain't lying. Like, how did Vegas get away with sanctioning that? That's crazy.
I don't know. And the wild part is that line that we saw this past weekend.
It wasn't big enough.
Dude, it wasn't big enough. And 2, we got about 6 fights this upcoming weekend with the same exact line. So, in the famous words of Uncle Weezy, we might see multiple ass shavings this upcoming weekend, dude, because it's going to be a wild one. Anyway, Myron Santos absolutely got a robbery decision win against Francis Marshall. I will say, dude, everyone can agree on this. I bet Myron Santos 3-order decision. And something told me as I'm about to walk out of the door, I'm like, this is taking too long. Something don't feel right. And when I heard one judge went Myron Santos, I was like, they're going to give it to him. And I stood there and I witnessed the robbery. But I also heard that apparently Vegas had a big position this past weekend that if Francis Marshall would have won, they would have lost a shit ton of money. So maybe something got called in, dude. It wouldn't surprise me too much, but that was a complete fucking robbery. Francis Marshall should have won that 100%. Fight. Even Myron Santos came out today, said that he just now rewatched the fight, and he was like, I don't think I won that fight. He was like, I don't know how you could say that I won that fight.
I mean, I thought it was clear Francis Marshall. I thought Santos won round 2. Santos was winning round 1 up until that big left hook from Francis Marshall, but that's what ended up stealing the round for Francis Marshall, was that big left hook. And then, like I said, I thought that Francis Marshall used his wrestling well in the 3rd round. You know, I thought that Myron Santos, it took him a minute to kind of get his legs back under him after he ended up getting rocked. And I just thought that he was never really able to catch back up, but that was 1,000% a robbery. Yeah, I don't use that word much often when it comes to decisions like that, but that was 1,000% a robbery. And again, I'm with you. I had to bet on Santos as well, but yes, Francis Marshall should have 100%, 1,000% have won that fight.
Yeah. So with that being said, the only early prelim, because the 2 fights fell off, was Jordan Santos versus Ozzy Diaz. I had a bet for this. I had $10 on Ozzy Diaz to get 2 takedowns at plus 1,000. On the weigh-in show, he was like, "ADC, I'm gonna go in there and like hit your famous high crotch, basically." Ozzy Diaz didn't go for 1 fucking takedown that entire fight, dude. I was like, what the fuck, man? Like, you had me believing you were going to go for a takedown, but he didn't.
Straight up box.
Yeah, that's why you don't, go off of what fighters say they're going to do, what fighters, say their game plan is, because Ankalaev says he was going to go in there and strike with Alex Pereira, shot 12 takedowns. So, it is what it is. Ozzy Diaz does win via decision. Card overall as a whole, good card. Got this close to winning about $1,500. If Alex would have won by knockout in the 3rd round, I would have won $1,500. If Alex would have won by knockout, I would have won $1,000. And if Alex just would have won, I would have won like $600-700. But Alex did not win. Did not win by knockout. Did not win by knockout in round 3. So I come up with the big goose egg. Aside from the parlay, from the podcast parlay that's now hit 2 weeks in a row. So hopefully keep it rolling this week. What's your thoughts overall on the card, D-Rose?
I thought it was a great card. As I said, I thought, from beginning to end, I thought for the most part it had really good performances. Again, a lot of good storylines coming off of the card as well, just in terms of, stars who shine through, like that Josh Van, he looked great. He's going to be a problem at flyweight. Mauricio Hufi, and Ignacio Bahamondes. And then obviously Justin Gaethje getting the good win, and then getting the storyline from Ankalaev and Alex Pereira. You got a little rivalry or such going on. Thought it was a good card. I thought it lived up to its standard. I said B+. I thought it delivered as such as well.
Fair enough. Antoine saying, speaking of fights, Mason Plumlee and Steven Adams both got ejected tonight after a fight in the middle of the Rockets versus Suns. Dude, I can't imagine Mason Plumlee fighting anyone. That dude's goofy.
I can't either. And Steven Adams, if there's one thing he will
that's a
find
big guy.
himself. Yeah, he's a big guy, but if there's anything, Steven Adams will find himself in the middle of some shenanigans going on. Like, he will always find himself in the middle of something.
The big Australian.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, let's move on to our UFC news and fight announcements for this week. So I will share my screen. And D-Rose, one thing that I sent to you earlier this week that I can't seem to find it anymore was basically what I've been calling for ever since Dustin said there was going to be his retirement fight. I saw something that said we were going to get Dustin versus Max for Dustin's retirement fight for the BMF title in Louisiana. So before we get into the rest of our news, do you think that happens?
I believe it was Beneil Dariush who had revealed it in an interview. But me personally, I don't want it. I mean, so legends only. I get it. I mean, if we're being honest, who would be mad if it was? I don't want to see Justin Gaethje either. I'm done with that. But who would be mad if we seen Dustin Poirier versus Charles Oliveira, or Dustin Poirier versus you can name just about any lightweight, and it's going to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to watch that because it's going to be Dustin. It's going to be Dustin Poirier. He's going to deliver.
I think he wants to win the BMF before he retires.
Yeah, cool. I don't know. I just think that I just think at this point you're up 2-0 on them. Why go back and fight for a third time? I do agree with you that Dustin Poirier wants to get the BMF, but I could see another fight. I don't need to see Max versus Dustin again. Will I watch it? Of course, but I don't need to see it again.
Fair enough. Yeah, and then all right, we got Taz asking weird questions. All right, anyway, let's get into our news. We got Payzal, Marcos Rosario de Lima, suspended for 1 year. Do you care about that at all, D-Rose? Positive for anastrozole.
I don't care at all.
Come on, man, that's Payzal.
That's your guy. I can't believe I picked him against Derek Lewis.
I know, dude. That was an easy cash for me. That's it. I'm sure by now everyone's seen the Marlon Cheeto Vera home robbery. Do you think that was real, dude?
I was wondering the same thing, if that was real, because it just seemed so the guy's going to walk up to him with a hatchet or whatever that was, a machete.
Dude, California's a wild place.
Yeah, which I wouldn't be too surprised, but it did kind of seem like he just, he conveniently had the gun sitting up. I wouldn't be surprised if it's real, but I'm always looking at stuff through a skeptical eye. I would not be surprised if that was a little setup.
Yeah. Maybe Lizzie kind of filming like a movie, promoting a movie, or it could be real, dude. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was his, it was his security footage too. It's not like it was, somebody conveniently had a camera. But
yeah. Anyway, we got Sugar and Marab running into each other at the PI. Thoughts? And the next one's going to be
Jacuzzi. How about Jacuzzi, brother? Yeah,
they actually recreated the picture. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, no, that's actually hilarious. That they're going to be opponents, and now they're in the jacuzzi together. Considering the fact that Marab was giving Umar shit about being in the jacuzzi with all his boys, and there he is. But obviously that's a joke.
Sword
that's what makes it funny.
All right. Yeah. Anyway, in that fight, I believe it's going to be UFC 316, June 7th. Is that International Fight Week? No, that's not International Fight Week.
No, yeah, I was going to say, I believe that's are they going to do, because I remember last year they did 2 pay-per-views.
June 7th main event.
Yeah, I believe it'll be the main, but I'm just curious about if it'll be, because I think June does 2 pay-per-views, so I wouldn't be surprised if this was obviously the first one. But yeah. I mean, Marab, I guess he's kind of calling his shots at this point just because, he's the champ and they're kind of just going off what he wants to do. I mean, if I'm being fair, I don't know if I'm going to be excited to see him face O'Malley again, but I can understand why he's getting the fight because O'Malley's the biggest star and the biggest money seller at this point.
Odds so far? What do you think?
It seems a little high, but I definitely go Umar. Oh, I'm sorry. I said Umar. I definitely got Marab.
Yeah.
I'm saying you're talking about Umar earlier and saying it now. But no, I definitely have to go Marab. Marab this time. He's just proven time and time again that, he is he's great, man.
All right. We got Connor wanted to get on Joe Rogan podcast. That should be interesting. Anyway, and then pretty much our only news and announcement that I have for today is May 17th. We got Johnny Walker versus Azamat Murzakanov. Johnny Walker going to get knocked out again. Yeah, at UFC
It's
Qatar.
crazy that he's still even ranked. And yeah, you're absolutely right, dude. Murzakanov is going
UFC
to
106. It says
dude,
UFC
he
Qatar
is going
up there. But there we go.
Dude, he is absolutely going to crush Johnny Walker just because Murzakanov can box and Johnny Walker is known to be a mannequin now. So yeah, that'd be a hell of a highlight.
Yeah, you got anything, man?
No. I mean, we pretty much talked about the stuff that I wanted to talk about and everything. So no, we're good.
All right. So let's get into this card this weekend. We got a card. We have a card. You know, I would rather have this card than no card. So I'll be thankful that we have some UFC fights. Are they the best ones we've ever had? Absolutely not. So let me get my odds pulled up real quick, and then we'll get into it. So this weekend, make sure I am sharing this weekend. Dude, look how unenthused they look on the fight card. Like on the poster. Like they don't even look happy on the poster that they're fighting. Yeah,
I mean, hell, Marvin didn't even know which Roman he was fighting.
Right? I mean, it kind of makes sense. Anyway, this weekend we've got UFC Fight Night Vegas 104, I believe. Is that what I titled it? 104, yeah. Which is Marvin Vettori versus Roman Dolidze 2. It's going to be taking place this Saturday in the UFC Apex at 4 p.m. East Coast time. We do have 13 fights to go over, so quite a bit. And the fights are all like this. The main event is the Italian Dream, Marvin Vettori, taking on the Caucasian, Roman Dolidze. We've got Elizu Zaleski, Capoeiro dos Santos, taking on Chidi Bang Bang Njokuani. We've got Alexander the Great Ape Hernandez taking on Kurt Holloway. We've got the Monster Blackshear, taking on Cody Gibson. We've got Dair Nurgazai taking on Brendan Haberio, the brother of Anyway, we got Kevin Vallejos taking on Sungwoo Choi. D-Rose, I cannot wait for that fight. We'll talk about it when we get there, but Kevin Vallejos was the guy that Jean Silva fought on the Contender Series that went all the way to decision, dude. So we know dude's tough, and his one loss is the Jean Silva. Now he's fighting Sungwoo Sting Choi that got double knocked down against Mike Trezano when they fought. So that's going to be a banger right there. Anyway, my most confident fight play on this card, Waldo Cortez Acosta taking on Ryan Superman Spann. I got Salsa Boy. Minus 160. I think Salsa Boy should get it done this weekend, but he's going to be taking on Superman Ryan Spann. We got Sung Young Yu taking on AJ Cunningham. And if you don't know who AJ Cunningham is, I'm sure the announcers will tell you about AJ Cunningham while he's fighting, but they're going to say that he was put outside in dog cages and made fight with dogs, and his dad put out like cigarette butts on him and a whole bunch of crazy shit like that. They're going to say how tough he is, but man, he just gets the shit beat out of him. But the two times he's fought was like against like Ludovic Klein and one other guy. But yeah, anyway, moving on, we got Josias Musasa taking on Carlos Vera. That should be an interesting one. We got Sam Hughes taking on Stephanie Luciano. We got Andre Lima. That's the guy that got bit. He's going to be taking on Daniel Barres. We've got Josiane Nunez with the no neck. Josiane Nunez taking on Priscilla, the zombie girl Cachoeira. And D-Rose, they still refuse to put Priscilla Cachoeira's picture on Google. If you Google this fight card, it has Josiane Nunez fighting no one. Google refuses to put a picture of Priscilla Cachoeira up. And then the first fight of the night, we finally get another Crispy Carly Judice fight. She is taking on Yanesi Dubin. And if you don't know Yanesi Dubin, she's the chick that basically stone cold knocked out the really jacked muscular girl. I don't remember her name off the top of my head on the Contender Series, but like fucking Dana White was like, holy shit, you're in the UFC, like right there. So yeah. With that being said, that's where we're gonna start at. So we don't have the best fights in the world, but we've got some fights, and I have some leans. The odds for these fights are all out of whack. D-Rose, what's your thoughts on the fights as a whole?
Pretty simply said, they are not good. A lot of PBFs on here. There's a couple of fights on here that could potentially deliver, but I mean, this is D- at best. At best, D-.
I'm just trying this weekend. I'm trying to get in, get out, like fucking smack them for like 1-200. I ain't trying to win no thousands this upcoming weekend. Let me just get in, pad my bankroll for this upcoming week. Do you work during this card, D-Rose? I got to hit the grocery store and I'll be watching that after.
Yeah, well, actually, no. I'm actually taking this Saturday off, so I will not be. But but I am. It will be my birthday this Saturday, so I'm going to be out. Got a buddy of mine. We're going to go. His birthday is actually on Sunday. His wife is throwing him like a little surprise birthday party. His health's kind of in like bad condition right now, so we're trying to like get friends together, kind of celebrate him. And then I'm going to have a little dinner later that night. So I will not be working during the card, but I'm not going to be actively looking for it either. Probably watch it afterwards.
All right. Do you guys hear that UFC Qatar doesn't have it anymore? Yeah, it's in Apex now. Yeah, that's what we saw. That's what we've figured out. It'll be Vegas 106 now, Antoine. Oh, shit. Happy birthday. God
Thank
bless
you,
you, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so with that being said, D-Rose, let's get in to these fights. We've got Yanesi Dubin taking on Crispy Carly Giudice, man. I've been hyped on her since she was on the Contender Series, since she lost on the Contender Series, dude. She's lost her past 2 fights. An L against Ernesto Carrasqueta, split decision, and L against Gabriela Fernandez, split decision. But just think about that. She went to split decision with Gabriela Fernandez after Gabriela Fernandez basically smoked Wang Kong, dude. So keep that in mind. Anyway, Yanesi Dubin, 6-0. What was the chick she knocked out? Shannon Clark. Yeah, Shannon Clark has more muscle than any female should have ever. And she got smoked against this pretty much chubby Yanesi Dubin. She's in a lot better shape now. I've seen that on her Instagram. She's actually training with Rose and Miranda Maverick in Colorado. So, Crispy Carly Giudice taking on Yanesi Dubin. Odds for this fight plus 285 for Yanesi Dubin, and Crispy Carly Giudice minus 360. Over under on this one is 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 175. Under 2.5 is plus 135. Yanesi Dubin is 6-0, 5-0 in her last 5 fights. Obviously, she's 28 years old, 5'4", 65-inch reach. Crispy Carly Giudice is 3-2 overall. She's lost her last 2, but was undefeated before then. She is a big favorite, 26 years old, 5'7", and a 68-inch reach. It's no secret which way I'm going here, D-Rose. I'm going Crispy Carly Giudice to win. It wouldn't surprise me if she got Yanesi Dubin out there in the 3rd, because before her last fight, dude, she's not. I don't think she's been to the 3rd round. I think she's winning all her fights by like 1st round fucking knockout. So I don't know if she has the gas to go all 3. So I'd be interested to see what Yanesi Dubin looks like in the 3rd. So for me, it's Crispy Carly Giudice, 3 or decision. A lot of words for something that you already know. Which way are you going here, man?
Yeah, I know Carly Giudice is your girl. Yanesi Dubin, as you said, she was the one who got all the steam off of the Dana White Contender Series from the big underdog. This is what the sport's all about. Like Dana was like pumped about that knockout for like weeks after the fact, and was like, she was the biggest betting underdog ever and on the Contender Series, and she had a big knockout, and it was a big moment. But this was tough. Giving Yanesi Dubin, and why not? I'm not super confident.
Hold on, real quick before we get started, D-Rose. It was requested last week that the beans come back. I have them here, dude. I will put beans on the line. Beans are back. And now that they're back, I'm probably going to end up fucking losing because I've been winning. You see, the pick champ's been over here. I think for the past 3 or 4 weeks, I've had it over here. I ain't even had to eat no beans. Beans will be on the line this week. D-Rose, do you have beans? If not, I'll get some delivered to your house.
I do have a. They're upstairs, but I actually got a new box that I have not opened yet.
All right, so got beans here, and if not, then I'll ship that bad boy over to you because I got 2 boxes here. So unopened.
Yeah, no, I actually ordered some,
July 31st,
and they're like
2025.
it's like wet dog and stuff like that that's in there too.
Gross.
So I did get it was like wet dog, and there was another one. Yeah, they were gross.
All right. So, with that being said, I am the reigning defending pick champ of the week, and I will continue to be UFC Vegas.
And remember, I get to pick the fights that go in there, though. So
I know. But I mean, that ain't been helping you. So,
hey, we're gonna lock in now.
D-Rose don't want to eat them beans. So, I'm going Judice. D-Rose going Dubin on the first different fight of the night. Surprising. How you doing that to your boy, man? That's my girl.
I know it's your girl. Just not, as you said, she lost the 2 first UFC fights. I mean, I know she's had some tough competition too, but hey, Yanesi Dubin gonna come with a little bit of momentum. And honestly, both their fights, but all their wins have come by stoppage as well. So I'm curious to see what the under would look like, for this fight. Now I know,
it's under 2.5 is plus 135.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, all right.
That's an interesting line.
Antoine, also, how do you guys record the cards? Me personally, I just go back and I watch on ESPN Plus because they're usually there fight week. If not, then I'll just find it online somewhere. How about you, D-Rose? D-Rose like, I ain't watching.
Yeah, I normally just go back on ESPN Plus, but ESPN Plus is the absolute worst app of all time for going back and streaming anything at all ever. It's absolutely annoying, and I can't wait until they provide another platform outside of ESPN Plus to where you can get most of the cards.
Yeah. Sugar Ray saying she can bring the crispy. He'll bring the cream. All right. Dave's happy. Get the bag ready. I know. On paper, what do you rate this card? D-Rose, what do you say? B?
This card coming up? You mean this one? Like the one coming up this weekend? Yeah. Roman versus Marvin 2?
Yeah, 2.
Yeah. I mean, it would be overachieving if Antoine
gives it a 7.
Or overvaluating everything if I said it was a 3. I mean, that's Jeez. Good.
That's tough, dude. Yeah. It's tough, man.
That's a tough card, man. That's a tough card.
All right. So, with that being said, first favorite pick of the night, I'm on Crispy Carly Judice as a minus 360 favorite. D-Rose is on the dog, Yanesa Dubin. Up next, we do have Josiane Nunez taking on Priscilla Zombie Girl Cachoeira. Josiane Nunez is 10-3 overall, 31 years old, 5'2" and a 67-inch reach, while Priscilla Cachoeira is 12-6 overall, 36 years old, 5'7" and a 65-inch reach. So Josiane Nunez will have a 2-inch reach advantage, but will be 5 inches shorter than Priscilla Cachoeira, dude. And that's going to be odd to see because Priscilla Cachoeira is never really the bigger girl of the two, and it's going to be up at 135. Currently, odds for this fight are minus 185 for Josiane Nunez. Priscilla Cachoeira is plus 154, dude. Over-under on this one, 2.5. Over is minus 188. Under is plus 145. I like Josiane Nunez with her no neck, just she's like this. She just goes in there and swings. She just left hook after left hook after left hook, dude. It's like you just want to cheer for her so bad, but it's the only thing she has, dude. I'm kind of surprised that she's the favorite this weekend, being the smaller girl of the two. because, dude, I talk about, swinging dicks. This is one of those fights where, these women are bringing their strap-ons to the octagon, and they're gonna swing the straps, man. Both girls coming here to swing. Do you see either one of them going for takedowns, or do both of them just throw heat? I think they just throw heat all 3 rounds. Someone might go to sleep here, and being the bigger girl, I don't think either girl's ever gotten knocked out. Both girls got lots of knockouts. Give me the dog here. Give me Zombie Girl, Priscilla Cachoeira, to win this fight. Which way are you going here, man?
Man, I know you love you so much, Josie and Nunes, so that's actually surprising to hear that you decided to go with Priscilla Cachoeira here. I do think that, honestly, this is, for as much crap as I'm giving the card, this is actually a well-made fight, just because, hey, as you said, these women are going to go in here and they're going to slug it out for the most part. So I will say that is good matchmaking from them. I do think that Priscilla Cachoeira, I think she's obviously the bigger girl. I think she might even have the speed advantage as well, even though she is a little bit older than Josie and Nunes. Although I'd like to see that birth certificate to know for sure, because Josie and Nunes kind of got that Gregory Rodriguez thing going on, to where she's looking a lot older than what that birth certificate might actually really say. But yeah, I'm bad part is, man, I'm actually with you. I actually I don't pick Priscilla Cachoeira much in fights at all. I mean, I can't really remember the last time I picked her, to be honest. But I do think that this is a good matchup for her, because I do think that she'll be the faster of the two. She's got a pretty good chin, so I never really see her get hurt that much. And I honestly think that if I think how I think the fight might go, I think Priscilla Cachoeira might actually end up using her wrestling in this fight a little bit more as well. She will be the bigger woman overall. Josie and Nunes has seemed to struggle with, she can defend the first takedown, but when you can kind of chain it together and get her on her back, she does have trouble getting off of her back a lot of times. So I would not be surprised to see Priscilla Cachoeira work that in too. Give me Priscilla Cachoeira by decision.
Fair enough. Antoine, I remember when Josie Nunez made Maimoleki retire. Dude, she killed Maimoleki. It's just like killing a giraffe. Oh, man. You can hit her chin, dude.
Just winging them hooks.
You can't hit her chin. It's all shoulders. Yeah, that's kind of what it's like. It's kind of what it's like. All right, so me and D-Rose both on Zombie Girl.
Chin always tucked.
Yeah,
always
me and
tucked.
D-Rose both on Zombie Girl, Priscilla Cachoeira this week. So up next, we have a fun fight, D-Rose. Should be a striking fight. And I think I have. Let's just get into it. We got Andre Lima 10-0 taking on Daniel Barres 17-6. Andre Lima, the guy that got bit, Mascate, is 10-0, 26 years old, 5'7", 67.5-inch reach, and he cheats as much as Amanda Lemos cheated this past weekend. That's the reason he got bit anyway, was because he was cheating. The guy got fed up that he kept grabbing the cage and was like, I can't take you down because you're just holding on to the cage. I'm just going to bite you. He got so mad at the dude for cheating, he just bit him. Anyway, Daniel Barres, 17-6. 36 years old, dude. Kind of odd to see him being that old coming into the UFC, because he's only had a couple fights. 5'6", and 66-inch reach. Currently, odds for this fight are Daniel Barres plus 310, the underdog. Andre Lima minus 395, your favorite. Over/under is set at 2.5. The over is minus 210, and the under is plus 160. Yeah, dude, I'm going to go with a cheater here to win via decision, because Daniel Barres, he doesn't really impress me anywhere, to be honest. And Andre Lima's got pretty good takedown defense. And if not, he's just going to hold on to the fence and not get taken down. He's going to cheat any way that he can to win this fight, to keep his undefeated record. He's the bigger guy of the two. Very good kickboxer, and he showed in his last fight that he's got some solid ground skills as well, because I think I picked against them in his last fight. But yeah, I'm gonna go Andre Lima. I'm gonna go Andre Lima 3 or decision here. How about you, D-Rose?
Yeah, this one is a little tough for me. I'm Daniel Barres, I do think that he's a little bit more well-rounded in terms of he kind of likes to mix everything up, but he does like to try to lean on that wrestling a little bit as well.
I've kind of seen a
I
butt
think,
scoot a time or two, and I'm like, it's not the best look, like, oh.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like he's definitely going to work in the grappling a little bit more. Where I think that Andre Lima, he's a little bit more well rounded as well, as you see a lot of the new generation coming up. But I do think he's got a little bit more. He can lean into a little bit more of his boxing and his leg kicks, and I do think that he can defend the takedowns of Baez. I think he's a better striker overall. So I do think, for me personally, I do think that Lima is the cleaner fighter. For me personally, I do think that Andre Lima gets it done, and I am with you. I'm round 3 decision for Andre Lima.
All right, me and D Rose both on Mascate, Andre Lima to win 3 or decision. Up next, we've got Sam Hughes taking on Stephanie Luciano Rondinha. Sam Page is 9-6 overall, 32 years old, 5'5" and a 64.5-inch reach, while Stephanie Rondinha Luciano is 6'1" overall, 25 years old, 5'6" and a 66.5-inch reach. Currently, odds for this fight: Stephanie Luciano minus 230, your favorite. Sam Hughes plus 190, the underdog. Over under is set at 2.5 here. Over is minus 600. The under is plus 390. Yeah, D Rose, I think we both kind of like to pick Sam Page when she's the dog. This fight, though, we know what we're getting with Sam Page. She's gritty. She's tough. She's got cardio to go 3 rounds. She's going to grab you. She's going to clinch you. She's going to try to take you down, just get some control. Not the best striker overall. Honestly, her and JJ Aldridge are kind of the same fighter. Maybe Sam Page got a little bit more fury to her. But this week, she's taking on Stephanie Luciano that, honestly, she's done nothing but impress me in her UFC debut, because she was taking on Talita Alencar that she lost the first fight, got booked as a rematch as their first fight in the UFC, and she made the adjustments, came back and won that fight via decision very easily, stopped all the takedowns, and she's kind of a big girl, too. I think she's a little bit bigger than 5'6", unless the Talita Alencar is just tiny, which is also a possibility as well. I like the footwork, the jab, the distance management of Stephanie Luciano here, and I like the takedown defense. So give me the favorite, Stephanie Luciano, to win this fight via decision. Unfortunately, not this week for Sam Page. Which way are you going here, D-Rose?
Yeah, I think this one is pretty straightforward. It's going to be a tale of two tapes here. Can Sam Page Hughes get the fight to the ground, or can Stephanie Luciano keep the fight on the feet and keep it to where she's most comfortable on the feet? Sam Hughes does have good takedowns. She's gritty. She's going to work her way inside, but I do think that Stephanie Luciano, as you said, I am with you in terms of her striking ability with her footwork. And as you said, the way she was able to stuff the takedowns against Alencar in her last fight. Yeah, Stephanie Luciano, younger and only getting better, where I think Sam Hughes, if she's not really able to get Luciano up against the fence, really trying to work those clinch exchanges, kind of go for the second and third takedown attempts, I think Stephanie Luciano is her fight to lose. I think Stephanie Luciano by decision is the way to go.
Fair enough. Antoine, how do you guys feel about fighters like Baez in their mid-30s? We just saw Hyder Amiro to get a big win over a young guy like the older fighters chasing the belt. Same. I like the older guys chasing the belt, but it's got to be a special fighter. Like, it can't if you're coming into the UFC 36 years old and you're like Baez when you're like 6, when you've like already lost 6 times, it's just not the best look. How about you, D-Rose?
Yeah, I mean, like I like the older guys fight, coming in kind of chasing for the belt, but almost kind of like I know Patricio Pitbull is a guy coming over from Bellator, longtime champion. He's 36, 37 years old now by the time he's going to fight Yair Rodriguez. I do like those types of opportunities, but as you said, it can't just be anybody. But I do like seeing, maybe the older fighter coming in and getting a quicker opportunity.
Fair enough. So me and D-Rose both on Stephanie Luciano via decision. Up next, D-Rose, we got to talk about this. We've got Josias Musasa, the KO wizard, taking on Pequeno Carlos Vera. Josias Musasa is 8-0, 26 years old, 5'8" and a 70-inch reach, while Carlos Pequeno Vera is 37 years old, 5'6" and a 69-inch reach. Do you know much about these two guys, D-Rose?
Not much at all.
All right, well, let's click on Josias Musasa first, right? The KO wizard from the Republic of Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo. Yeah, man, 8-0. Let's see who he's beat. He's won via decision one time on the Contender Series. Split decision against Otari Teslov, which is actually doing pretty solid in PFL. He actually has a solid knockout over Damon Jackson, I believe. But he wins all of his fights by first round knockout, right? Here's my issue, right? When you click on his gym of Elite Training Center, it says this gym was submitted to Tapology by the Tapology site by a fighter or promoter, but our staff has not been able to verify the gym exists in any specific location or address. Not the best look. Not the best look, especially when you're fighting out of the Democratic Republic of Congo. So does this guy have a gym, dude? Who's he training with? A lot of questions here. On the other hand, Carlos Vera is a Ryan Hall trainee, so going to go for leg locks, and that's it. That's all he's going to do. So crazy as it sounds, odds for this fight, D-Rose, are currently, are you ready for this? Minus 800 for Josias Musasa, plus 550 for Carlos Vera. Over under on this one is set at 1.5. The over is minus 160. The under is plus 124. Yeah, I just, if you're going to just go for leg locks, I can't pick you to win. And on the Contender Series, Josias Musasa, he kind of had that like Derek Lewis to him when he just stood up if you took him down. The dude's powerful, he's strong, an athlete to no end. If he gets some solid training, dude, he could be a solid threat at this 135-pound division because he's jacked for 135, dude. But I mean, if you come from the Republic of Congo, you're probably going to be a jacked man anyway, because those dudes out there, they chase down and kill their food and shit. So, yeah, it's just tough one to be confident in. But the way I see this going is probably Carlos Vera going for some sort of Imanari role and just getting blasted, kind of like Ilya Topuria versus Ryan Hall. It's probably going to look something like that. So, give me Josias Musasa, probably first round knockout, man. Which way are you going here?
Yeah, that's now that you said it from Musasa from the Contender Series, I actually remember the fight now, because I remember Dana talking about him afterwards, saying like, dude, like he basically looked like he was as green as can be, but he was just like such a fantastic athlete and as explosive. So yes, I now that you refresh my memory with Musasa, there you go. And for, as you said, Vera, somebody who is going to try to get the fight down to the ground, but doesn't really present much of a threat on the feet to try to get it down to the ground. Yeah, Musasa, yeah, he's a hell of an athlete. Dude's got power. I know that last fight in the Contender Series went to a split decision, but I thought he had clearly won. And yeah, I think Musasa, I don't know if it ends up being a finish. I think it could look similar to how his Contender Series fight looked, to where he's going to get a little bit of a challenge. It's probably not going to be the prettiest fight in the world, but you'll see a tough, gritty performance from Musasa to pull it out. Let's go round 3 decision for Musasa here. I think he gets the job done.
Fair enough. Me and D-Rose both on Musasa. I'm on round 1 knockout.
I can't believe he's such a high favorite like that, though. That's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I know. Aiden wants to know, what's the best UFC pack to open right now? Probably Finest. Get you a Finest hobby pack. You'll be all right. What flag is that? That is the Democratic Republic of Congo. Yeah, Congo. How's it going? What's going on, Gammon Chad? Appreciate you stopping by here tonight. Another old fighter, Carlos Vera, chasing. Yeah, D Rose. I mean, it's just leg locks. It's all he's gonna go for. So I don't know, man. He might get knocked out in the first round. Anyway, moving on. We do have Su Young Yu taking on the Savage AJ Cunningham. Jiu-Jitsu. Su Young Yu is 14-3 overall, 29 years old, 5'6", and a 65-inch reach, while AJ, the Savage Cunningham, is 11-4 overall, 30 years old, 5'10", and a 71-inch reach. Odds for this fight are currently minus 625 for Su Young Yu, and AJ Cunningham is plus 455, your underdog. Over-under is set at 2.5. Over is minus 115, and under is minus 115. You know AJ Cunningham, D-Rose, fought a couple times. He's fought Ludovic Klein and got absolutely the shit beaten out of him, and also fought Stephen Nguyen as well. Got the shit beat out of him there as well. We do know that he's tough. That's about it, man. Trains with Bryce Mitchell, and apparently maybe I forgot what I saw, but one of Bryce Mitchell's training partner. Anyway, when this guy fights, they're going to talk about how tough he is, how hard of a life he's had growing up. His dad, put him outside in the dog cage and like got him attacked by dogs and shit for fun, and put out like fucking cigarette butts on him and shit like that. Really fucked up human being, if you ask me. But he's a tough guy, so I don't think you're going to knock him out. And D Rose, in Jiu-Jitsu's first fight off the road to UFC, you picked Jiu-Jitsu to win the fight. One thing I do want to highlight real quick is this right here, that the fight is going to be at 135 pounds. AJ Cunningham outside of the UFC has fought at 145, and the 2 times inside the UFC now, or probably like 5-6 times, has fought up at 155. So it's going to be a 5'10" bantamweight with a 71-inch reach. He's probably going to kill himself to get down to 135 pounds. I don't think Jiu-Jitsu has the power to knock out AJ Cunningham, and AJ is going to be the bigger guy. D Rose, at this giant dog shot, we know AJ Cunningham has the cardio to go all 3 rounds because you can't get him out of there. He's going to continue to walk forward and absorb damage. What I'm wondering is, does Jiu-Jitsu kind of gas out trying to finish AJ Cunningham, because he's a Jiu-Jitsu guy. He's just going to try to get the fight to the ground and finish by a submission. He basically doesn't have any striking, really. So I'm willing to take the dog shot on AJ Cunningham this week, dude. Plus 455 dog. Not going to be the best pick in the world. I might throw a couple dollars at it, but I'm not confident at it, because AJ Cunningham is literally one of the biggest punching bags that we've ever seen inside the UFC, and making a huge weight cut like this, not a good look. But I don't trust Jiu-Jitsu coming off road to UFC, dude. These guys aren't the best in the world. There's a few of them that are good, but I don't think Su Young Yu is that guy. Give me AJ Cunningham as the big dog to win. Which way you going here, man?
I am with you in terms of picking the road to the UFC, guys. I have told you multiple times that I'm kind of hesitant when it comes to picking those guys, just because they deliver good performances, on the show. But then when it comes to, when it comes to actually fighting in the UFC, it always seems like they struggle with like takedown defense, or all of a sudden, the cardio is not as well in the 3rd round, or just there's always just a couple more holes in their game than you initially anticipate. But for me personally, I just can't get over the fact of AJ Cunningham, again, being the punching bag that he is. Just no head movement at all. If he can have this Yuri movement to where all of a sudden he's moving his head out the way, I am with you in terms of the size advantage that he's going to have. That is something to take into account. But if he's getting knocked out at 55 like that, getting punched perfectly, I can only imagine a big guy like that cutting down to 145. It was
kind of like on the feet and then via a body shot. Like fucking Ludovic Klein had to go to the body to get him out.
Yeah. Yeah, he did, but he was absolutely lighting him up, though. And that's another thing too, going to the body, depleting yourself, going down to 145. How much more damage are you going to be able to withstand going down a weight class, considering the fact that you don't have the best of head movement and stuff already? So again, it's not with the most confidence, but give me So Yu Young or So Young You. Give me him by. Let's go. Let's go second round knockout.
You're thinking of knocking
Ground and
out?
pound.
All right. Well, whatever you
Ground and
say,
pound.
dude. Well, whatever you say, man. Anyway, we got absolute tragic backstory for AJ. I heard his parents were injecting him with steroids when he was younger too. Yeah, dude, he's had a crazy life. MMA journalist Nolan King did a great piece on him. Yeah, you guys should check that out. Aiden, I got you a response there. AJ Cunningham is my most confident pick on the card. Betting our maternity leave money. Oh shit, real fight picks.
Damn.
I mean, you're either gonna cash out or you're gonna be broke, man. Because AJ Cunningham,
And you're gonna be sleeping in the doghouse.
Not a good fighter, man. Not a good fighter, but he might come through. So up next, we have my most confident pick on the card. We've got Waldo Cortez Acosta, Salsa Boy, taking on Ryan Superman Span. We've got Salsa Boy. Waldo Cortez Acosta is 12-1, 33 years old, 6'4" and a 78-inch reach, while Ryan Superman Span is 22-10 overall, 33 years old, 6'5" and a 79-inch reach. Currently, odds for this fight are minus 180 for Waldo Cortez Acosta. It's moving on me. And plus 150 Ryan Span. Over under is set at 1.5. The over is minus 180 and the under is plus 140. Yeah, D Rose, I'm gonna say the same thing that I said to you in the messages earlier when I sent you when I was talking to you about this card. I was like, yeah, right now I think my only feel for who I think has got a solid, probably going to win chance on this card is Waldo Cortez Acosta. He was minus 160 at the time, and it's mostly because Ryan Span is ass. He's not good. He told the world that he just now started training a few fights ago. And his chin's bad. He's got good athletics, measurables, but he's just not a good fighter for some reason. And if he thinks he's going to go up to heavyweight and magically get better, he might be the faster guy of the two, but you're going to get hit harder by Waldo Cortez. You're like, think about what he did to fucking Lucas Dredzky. Had him stumbling around. Like, not a good look, dude. Ryan Span, I don't see any way that he wins this fight, dude. But because the only way he ever wins is like round one submission, right? He'll like come out, crack the guy hard, get him stumbling, they shoot, and he fucking gets a guillotine. Dude, like, that giant Robelis de Spain was cracking Waldo, and he was like, oh, that's all you got? Good fucking luck. And then just took him down, dude. So with that being said, give me Ryan Span to come out here hot in the first round, probably blow his load, and then Waldo Cortez to probably end up finishing Ryan Span maybe sometime in the second round, dude. Give me Waldo Cortez Acosta round 2 knockout because Ryan Span's ass. Waldo Cortez money line, my most confident pick on the card for me. It'll be my side of the podcast play of the week. Waldo Cortez Acosta now minus 180. Salsa Boy. Which way you going here, man?
Man, you'd be surprised. I've actually been a little bit more back and forth with this fight than I actually would anticipate myself, because I think back to the only fight that Marcos Cortez Acosta what the hell am I talking about? Waldo Cortez Acosta lost, and that was to Pazal himself when he got taken down a lot. The problem is that Ryan Span is incapable of sticking to a game plan. Like, he just has to go out there, get into a slugfest, and either get cracked or crack the other dude and knock him out or submit him. And it's one thing I will give Ryan Span is that he's willing to go out there and go out on his shield. My problem for me is that it seems like whenever Ryan Span gets touched at certain times, he is just like in shell shock that he is getting hit. I just always think back to that Anthony Smith fight, the first one, when Anthony Smith just throws like 3 jabs in a row, and it looks like Ryan Span had just like, dude, it looked like he had just been like electrocuted. Like, it looked like he had gotten like a tased or something like that. Like, it was just like, like Anthony Smith is just absolutely rocking him. I gotta think, man, if Ryan Span's getting rocked down at light heavyweight that way, I can only imagine a guy like Waldo Cortez Acosta who can hit hard And the only difference with Waldo Cortez Acosta and most other heavyweights is that Salsa Boy does have the speed advantage over a lot of heavyweights as well. So I don't think the speed advantage that Ryan Spann is going to be bringing up, it's going to be that much of a difference compared to Salsa Boy. So I am with you. Give me Salsa Boy. I'm going first round knockout here. I think Spann just gets too carried away, gets too confident. Salsa Boy lands that big bomb, and I think he just gets him out of there in the first.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me, dude. Wouldn't surprise me. We got Firehouse Subs ad. Nice. Anyway, me and D-Rose both on Salsa Boy. Waldo Cortez Acosta via knockout.
At Firehouse
Up next.
in years.
I know, dude. We got a fun one, dude. We got Kevin Vallejos El Chino taking on Sungwoo Sting Choi. Kevin Vallejos is 14-1, 23 years old, 5'7" and a 68-inch reach, while Sting Sungwoo Choi is 11-7, 32 years old, 6 foot and a 74-inch reach. Currently, odds for this fight are Kevin Vallejos is minus 550, your favorite, and Sting Sungwoo Choi is plus 410, your underdog. Over under set at 1.5. The over is minus 140. The under is plus 110. Yeah, as I said when we were first talking about this, if you don't know Kevin Vallejos, his one loss is to Jean Silva on the Contender Series, and that's his only. And it went to decision. Jean Silva did not finish Kevin Vallejos. It was kind of a war, dude, kind of a banger fight. And then Sting Sungwoo Choi, he gets dropped in basically every single one of his fights. Got double knocked down against Mike Trezano, and then knocked out by Mike Trezano, which now Mike Trezano is cut from the UFC, competing over in BKFC. Not the best look, because, Sting goes out there, dude, and if there's one thing that he's going to do, he's going to go out there and throw his dick, man. It's going to be a barn burner. He goes out there and throws in it. If he's going up against Kevin Vallejos, dude, his chin's going to get touched, man. So give me Kevin Vallejos probably to knock out Sungwoo Choi in the first round. Which way are you going here, man?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that Sungwoo Choi, he goes out there. He leaves it all out there. I will say that 100%, but he will live and die by the sword. And I think his chin has just been tested too many times at this point. I'm with you, Kevin Vallejos. Sharp striker. Again, tough dude as well. As you said, went the 3 rounds with Joan Silva, and we see what Silva's doing to people in the UFC now. Give me Vallejos let's go by second round knockout.
All right, fair enough. Me and D-Rose both on Kevin Vallejos via knockout. Up next, we got Dair Nergaze taking on Brennison the Gorilla Ribeiro. Dair Nergaze is 10-0, 27 years old, 6'2" and a 74-inch reach, while Brennison Ribeiro is 16-7, 28 years old, 6'3" and an 81-inch reach. Currently, odds for this fight are Nergaze is minus 375, your favorite, and Brennison Ribeiro is plus 295, your dog. Over under on this one, set at 1.5. Over is minus 154, under plus 120. Yeah, for me, D-Rose, Brennison Ribeiro is not that good. He's comes out hot in the first round, super long striker, long punches, long kicks. But, man, by round 2, he's just like his brother, dude. He's ready to pack that shit up and go home, dude. And Dair Nergaze, I've done a little bit of research. He's got excellent grappling. So what I suspect here is Nergaze to get down Brennison Ribeiro in the first down, get all that energy that he's got out, get him a little bit tired. And then we probably see Nergaze round 2, round 3 TKO just from taking down and just that ground and pound. So give me late fight. Let's say early round 3 TKO ground and pound for Nergaze. Which way are you going here, man?
Yeah, for Brennison Ribeiro, talented fighter, as you said, long striker, powerful striker. He does have power, but he does tend to get a little bit sloppy in the exchanges. That's how Zhang was able to get him caught in those exchanges as well. The perfect counterpunch that he landed. He can kind of Ribeiro can kind of leave his chin up a little bit. And I know you said that Nergaze has good grappling, but he's also got some pretty good striking, man. He had a nasty knockout in the Contender Series as well. And I think that Ribeiro is somebody who does get hit cleanly as well. So I would not be surprised to see Dair get the finish on the feet for the knockout. But I do think that either way, it'll be a KO TKO for Dair Nergazay. Let's go. I'm with you with the second round as well.
All right, fair enough. Me and D-Rose both on Dair Nergazay. We'll move on to the next fight where we've got the Monster Blackshear, taking on Cody, the Renegade Gibson. the Monster Blackshear, 15-7-1. 30 years old, 5'10" and a 72-inch reach, while Cody, the Renegade Gibson, is 21-10 overall, 37 years old, 5'10" and a 71-inch reach. Currently, odds for this fight, minus 485 for Damon Blackshear. Cody Gibson is plus 370, your dog. Over under is set at 2.5. The over is minus 210, and the under is plus 160. This is one, D-Rose, but I really don't know what we're doing here. I really don't know why Cody Gibson's in the UFC. I'm going to be honest. He's a little bit older. I think he's just maybe here to feed to some of these younger guys, because Cody Gibson can get taken down, will play on the ground. And if you're going to do that with Damon Blackshear, I think you're just going to get controlled all 3 rounds, if not submitted at some point. So give me Damon Blackshear to win by submission or decision. I don't know which way it is, but he's going to win this fight. Which way are you going here, man?
Yeah, I think for me personally, Cody Gibson, he's a tough, gritty fighter. That dude, another one who's not going to quit. And even when he looks tired, he's still going to push. Like, it just doesn't matter. It looks like he is going to be on E at certain times, and he will keep going. He's hard as hell to finish. I think Damon Blackshear is a guy who likes to go out there and I think most of his wins in the UFC are by finish. So I would not be surprised if he got the finish. But for me personally, I do think that Damon Blackshear gets the win. I think he just uses his grappling over Cody Gibson for the most part. I just think Cody Gibson's so tough, it's hard for him to be finished. I'll go round 3 or decision for Blackshear, but give me a Damon Blackshear here.
All right, me and D-Rose both on Damon Blackshear. Let's see if we agree here, D-Rose. We've got Alexander, the Great Ape Hernandez, taking on Kurt, the Hurt Hollowball. Alexander Hernandez is 15-8, 32 years old, 5'9" and a 72-inch reach, while Kurt Hollowball is 38 years old, 5'11" and a 70-inch reach, 21-8 overall. What was kind of confusing me was I know Kurt Hollowball versus Cody Gibson happened for the Ultimate Fighter, and it's weird seeing them fight at 155 and 135, right?
That is weird. That is very weird.
I just saw it, and it's kind of just confused me. But with that being said, odds for this fight are Alexander Hernandez minus 198, your favorite. Kurt Hollowball is plus 164, your dog. Over under is set at 2.5. Over is minus 215. Under is plus 165. Alexander Hernandez back up at 155, yeah?
Yeah, where he belongs. Hernandez didn't look right at lightweight. Or at featherweight. So, no, you're right.
But, to be fair, he went on a losing streak at lightweight, went down to featherweight, went on a losing streak there, came back up to lightweight, and it's like he's only beaten the old guys like Jim Miller, and it's by sketchy split decision. It's like the thing is, he's got a solid 2 rounds, and he's going to gas, dude. And just like you were talking about Cody Gibson, Kurt Hollowball is kind of like that dude that even if he's tired, he's going to continue to come out there and fucking throw, dude. And he's got a lot of submissions, dude. A lot of submissions late, dude. So I may be crazy. I think I'm going to take the dog here this week. Plus 164 Kurt Hollowball. And I don't hate Kurt Hollowball late sub props. Kurt Hollowball sub 2-3. Because Alexander Hernandez gasses, man. And if he gets gassed, Kurt Hollowball going to wrap up a neck. Give me the Hurt. Round 2, round 3 sub. Probably round 3 sub to be specific. So give me Kurt Hollowball to win. Which way are you going here, D-Rose?
To be fair, that's a perfectly reasonable pick considering the fact that Alexander Hernandez is a favorite. And for me personally, it's not that he never fights. It's not even that. It's just the fact that all of his fights are sketchy as hell. Like, you just never feel confident in picking him in any of the matchups that he goes into, no matter how much of a favorite he is or not.
Mm-hmm.
You've just seen him make mistakes, time after time in certain fights. you've seen the potential that, he was first hyped up with when he came in, when he knocked out Beneil Dariush. But then he goes out there and then gets absolutely ran over by Cowboy Cerrone. And, his career has literally been up and down since that moment in time. Like, it's win, lose, win, lose, one. When you think he's doing good, he's going to do bad. When you go to count him out, he comes back. Kurt Hallbaugh, tough fighter. Kind of well-rounded for the most part. Kind of the dirty boxer, want to get in close, clinch, wrestle type. Really just make the fight a dirty fight. So that is the type of fight that can really deter Alexander Hernandez. I'm not super confident picking Alexander Hernandez, man, but I'm going to, just because I do think that I think the footwork of Alexander Hernandez, I think one thing he does throw is a nasty body kick and a teep kick. If Hernandez can use that and really establish the range, I think that's where, especially having the reach advantage, I think that's where Hernandez gets it done. But if Hallbaugh gets inside and starts working that dirty boxing in and stuff like that, Alexander Hernandez is going to have a long 3 rounds. But give me Alexander Hernandez by narrow decision.
All right. Split for the third time tonight. I'm on Kurt, the Hurt Hallbaugh. D Rose is on Alexander, the Great Ape Hernandez. Up next, probably my second most confident pick on the card, we have Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos Capoeira taking on Chidi Bang Bang Njokuani. Elizeu Zaleski Capoeira dos Santos is 25-8-1 overall, 38 years old, 5'11" and a 73-inch reach, while Chidi Bang Bang Njokuani is 24 years old. I'm sorry, 36 years old, 24-10, 6'3" and an 80-inch reach. Chidi down at 170 has transformed his game into cage pushing, D Rose, and it's fucking shitty. I hate it.
He's Holly Holm.
Like, dude, it's the most boring thing to watch, especially being the entertaining fighter that you were up at 185. You have knockouts, you have this power, but you reside to holding people up against the fence down at 170. It makes no sense. He's taking on someone this weekend that I don't think he can hold up against the fence. He is 38 years old, but Chidi's 36, man. Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos, you look at I think it was the last fight against Randy Brown, which is basically a bigger guy than Chidi is, dude. He gave Randy Brown a run for his money in multiple moments in that fight, and I thought Elizeu maybe won that fight, dude. Elizeu's got power, and Chidi's known to kind of just pack it up, dude. If he gets taken down and Elizeu's on top, game over. Game over, dude. So give me Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. Let's go second round ground and pound knockout. Elizeu is currently minus 192 favorite. That's my second most confident pick on the card. So Waldo and Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos are my two most confident picks on the card. Which way are you going here, D-Rose?
Man, this one will be interesting to see because I think both fighters, at this stage in their career, as you said, a couple of older vets. Chidi, again, as I said, turn into Holly Holm coming down into this weight class where he's holding people up against the fence for the most part. Where Capoeira, he's still got that danger in the strikes. He got that knockout in his last fight as well. Dude, yeah, Chidi's voice is absolutely amazing. I listen to the Annie Kaflorian podcast all the time, and every time Chidi and Njokuani fights, like fighters have basically like a sound where they pronounce their name. So when the commentators are doing the fight, obviously they can know how to say their name. And Chidi Njokuani, the way that he says his name, just so clean, deep, clear, just coherent voice. I mean, it is just, his voice is picture perfect, man. He is not lying. Antoine's not lying at all about doing some type of narrating or something like that. He definitely needs to consider that as a second career. But for me, Chidi's got the striking. His takedown defense has gotten better. I think Zaleski's going to have to take the fight down to the ground just because he's going to have to get through Chidi's reach. Give me Chidi here. I think I like Chidi Njokuani here. One of his best weapons are his teep kicks as well, similar to Alexander Hernandez. I just want to see if he uses them a lot, man. And I think that one thing he has gotten better about is when he's in the clinch, he does throw a lot of knees and elbows when he's in the clinch. The dude's got nasty knees, and he's thrown into the body of Zaleski, taking that energy down bit by bit. I could see that being something that would help Chidi win as well. Give me Chidi Njokuani by decision.
All right, another split one. Our fourth one. I am on Zaleski dos Santos. D Rose is on Chidi Njokuani. Main event time. If y'all haven't already, hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Let's get into it. We got the Italian Dream, Marvin Vettori, taking on the Caucasian Roman Dolidze. Marvin Vettori is 19-6-1 overall, 31 years old, 6 foot and a 74-inch reach, while Roman Dolidze is 14-3 overall, 36 years old, 6'2" and a 76-inch reach. We saw this fight, 2-3 years ago, D-Rose?
Mm-hmm.
It was 3 rounds. I don't think it matters too much. Currently, odds for this fight are minus 148 Marvin Vettori, plus 124 Roman Dolidze. What kind of worries me is the rust that Italian Dream Marvin Vettori might have, dude. We haven't seen him in a while. Like, I know he's coming off of a pretty nasty arm injury that took him out for like a solid year now. And Roman Dolidze has just been continuing to fight, man. And he's one of the guys that I love to watch, because if it ends up on the ground at any point, dude, I almost think that he's automatically fucking going to win, because he's one of the most technical yet creative people on the ground that you see in the UFC. And up at 185, it's kind of surprising to see, because if you would give me Roman Dolidze versus Brendan Allen, dude, I would take Roman Dolidze to win that fight like 9 times out of 10. And he's pretty high ranked. So Marvin Vettori, dude, I know it's a rematch. I know it's 5 rounds, but I'm going to say that Roman Dolidze makes the adjustments over at Extreme Couture to make the adjustments to the game plan to defeat Marvin Vettori this time. I think he takes him down a few times. Going to be boring. I don't think either fighter finishes the other one, because I think both fighters are too tough to be knocked out, dude. We saw Imavov beat the shit out of Dolidze, and actually saw in an interview that he said after the first round, he doesn't remember anything past that. So he fought 4 rounds being basically knocked out after fighting Imavov. So, dude, he's so tough. We know Marvin Vettori's got a brick head, dude. I'm going to go with the dog here. I like Marvin Vettori, but I prefer Roman Dolidze way more fun of a fighter. He's going to go out there, throw big shots, going to try to submit you if it gets to the ground, as where Marvin Vettori is going to go out there and try to hold you against the cage and convince himself that he won. So give me Roman Dolidze via decision. How about you, D-Rose?
Man, this one, for me, I remember going into their first fight we both had picked Roman Dolidze. We were both picked on Roman Dolidze going into that fight. After the fight, I actually felt that Roman Dolidze had won that fight, even though Marvin Vettori did get the nod. That was going to actually be my exact comment there, too. Crazy to see that Marvin Vettori is only 31 years old. Like, I swear I thought I was going to see that he was 34, 35 years old. Dude, that he is 31. I'm not going to say that he's going to have a chance to come up and be UFC champion, but just to say that, like, dude, he's still got some time, man, like, to hang out in that top 10 of the middleweight division for a while. He's kind of like that stench that just won't go away. He's constantly there. I think for Roman Dolidze, he's got big power. As you said, he's got great grappling once it gets to the ground, especially for the higher weight classes as well. His transitions, his setups for his submissions are very slick as well. For me, dude, Marvin Vettori, I know Roman Dolidze, he's obviously tough as well. Like, dude, I actually went back and watched that Jared Cannonier fight again the other day where he fought Jared Cannonier. Like, dude,
because you had a bet on that over, dude. You had a bet on that.
No, I had a bet on Jared Cannonier by decision. That was a bet that I had, dude. That whole second and third round, my butthole was absolute lemon booty. Because
I was like, calm down. He ain't going to get finished.
Dude, but the chin that Vettori was able to display in that fight, I am 1,000% convinced. Like, you have to go in there with a sawed-off shotgun to finish Marvin Vettori. Because if you don't, you're not going to finish him. You're just not. The dude's just absolutely tough. And again, only 31 years old. I can see the argument for Vettori winning their first fight. I think Roman typically has kind of gas tank issues as the fight goes, where I think Marvin actually gets stronger as the fight goes. I think a 5-round fight is going to play more in favor for Marvin Vettori here. So give me Marvin Vettori. I think he gets the job done. I think it turns into a gritty fight, fun fight, but I think Marvin Vettori wins by decision.
All right, so there is our picks for the entire card, bottom to top. And you see, we do have 5 different picks on this card. They are Crispy Carly Judice versus Vanessa Dubin. I am on Crispy Carly Judice. D Rose on Vanessa Dubin. It is AJ Cunningham versus Su Young Yu. I'm on AJ Cunningham. D Rose on Su Young Yu. Kurt Hollowball versus Alexander Hernandez, where I'm on Kurt Hollowball. D Rose on Alexander Hernandez. Elizu Zaleski Dos Santos versus Chidi Njokwani. I am on Dos Santos. D Rose on Chidi Bang Bang. And the main event, don't really like it. I'm on Roman Dolidze. D Rose is on Marvin Vettori. So D Rose, what is the 3 picks for the pick champ this week? Beans are on the line. Don't forget, Beans on the line this week. And also, what's your most confident pick of the card so we can podcast play it?
So for the fights, let's go ahead and throw off those first 2 picks. So we'll do Alexander Hernandez, Kurt Hollowball, Chidi Njokwani versus Zaleski Dos Santos, and then let's do Marvin Vettori versus Roman Dolidze. I'm
So
going
give me
back and
2
forth.
dogs, huh?
Yes, I'm picking this. I'm picking, right? So let's set it right. Try to get this dub and get back on a winning track here. I would actually like, because I'm going back and forth in my head with 2 right now. I would like to see if you would actually like to make your pick first to give me enough time to settle.
I'm Waldo Moneyline minus 180. I already said that earlier in the podcast. Waldo Moneyline.
Oh, okay. So I'm not gonna lie. I thought you were going to go knockout or not. So
Nope.
I'm going back and forth with 2 because we're on a good bit of a streak here. I'll just tell you the 2 where I'm at, and then I'll kind of come up with a decision from there. Probably gonna come with a coin flip.
Okay.
Andre Lima, round 3 decision, because I have been with the round 3 decision last 2 weeks in a row, and I've nailed it. Do I keep the streak alive with the round 3 decision? Oh, I'm not gonna lie. I feel very confident with Nurkize getting the finish against Brendan Ribeiro, against Brendan Ribeiro. So I would not be surprised with either result. But do you think I should keep riding the gravy train with the round 3 decision?
Yeah, let's go Andre Lima 3 or decision, because he's minus 400. So him 3 or decision should be minus 180, minus 200, something like that. And then Waldo's also minus 180. So it should get plus money with those 2. So podcast play of the week. Yeah, Waldo Moneyline and Andre Lima 3 or decision. We got to wait on the 3 or decision to open up, but we'll see. I'm guessing it's going to be around minus 180, around minus 200. So that's the podcast play of the week. When the odds open up, I'll make the bet. I don't know if I put 20 on it this week or not, because I've been putting 10 on it and it's been hitting. So 3rd week in a row. Can we hit 3 in a row? I think maybe if I hit this one, then I'll start putting 20 on it next week, because this week's
hitting like this. Like we gotta start putting a little bit more money on this. And myself included. Like I put it in a parlay with something last week. I'm like, why did I not just play the parlay pick straight and the podcast pick straight instead of trying to get cute and parlay it with other dumb stuff? Just play it straight, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do this week.
Yeah, let me do this one. See if I can do both of them. I can't open both of them. Yeah, this was the podcast play last week, I believe. Well, that's not what I meant to click. This one. There we go. That's what cashed last week for us. Plus 269.
Plus 269. I mean, that's pretty good for a 2-pick parlay.
Right? Plus 269. And then the week before that, it was It was even more, dude. I think it was like +3 and some change. The week before that, I think it was this right.
Yeah, it was Chepe round 3 decision, and then what was the under one is there?
Under one, yeah, +304, dude. Yeah, and then the week before that, we would have cashed it if the eye poke for Henry Cejudo didn't happen because the fight did count.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So podcast play this week will be Waldo Cortez Acosta money line and Andre Lima 3-or decision when that opens. So when that opens, we'll get our play. Hopefully it's plus money, because if it's not plus money, D-Rose, I got to have a plus on it to put some money on it. I'm not betting minus anything. I'm just not.
Hey, we'll see what that finish line for Nergazay looks like too.
Yeah. Antoine, speaking of Van, who would you guys like for him next? Dude, he's just going to continue to keep fighting. I don't even think he cares who he fights next.
He literally does not. Just expect for him to have a fight announcement within the next probably month, and he's probably going to fight within the next 3.5 months.
I saw he wants to fight next pay-per-view. I forgot what it was. Like, he's already said that he wants to fight like on the next pay-per-view. Like, Jesus Christ, dude.
He's an absolute madman, dude. And I honestly keep saying it's going to be an issue, but dude, he's young. This is his chance to capitalize, make money.
Maybe a little bit later in his career, he could turn out like BJ Penn currently, dude. Have you seen that going on, dude?
Yeah, that dude's absolutely. That is an absolute nut, unfortunately. But for Van early in his career right now, I mean, it seems to be paying well for him to be taking all these fights. He's only lost one fight so far, and he was kind of winning that fight until he wasn't. So, yeah, I mean, Josh Van, one of my favorites right now, and dude looks really good.
Yeah, man. Do you guys think KKF is going to fight for the belt, or will it be Cop? I know D-Rose.
I personally like KKF. I mean, come on, man. Who do you think I want to fight?
Yeah. Yeah, let's talk about that. Are we starting to see real CTE in MMA Legends? See, Antoine, what you have to understand as well is BJ Penn has notoriously been on like the drugs that, you know, have voices talking to you, and have you seen it? Like, he's been on like meth and crack and shit like that. Like, so it's not too surprising. Like, you see, dude, I see people all the time, you know, they're fucking yelling and pointing at no one, and they're out there doing TikTok dances, and they don't even have a phone. So it's not the best look in the world, but when you start fucking with hard shit like that, dude, it can really fuck you up. And on top of being punched in the head and shit, but to me, it seems like more of like schizophrenia, which tells me it's probably more drug induced, Antoine, than it is CTE.
I wouldn't be surprised about that either. And I mean, you can say like CTE to a certain extent, and like Chuck Liddell, you know, somebody like that. But I think, you know, kind of like a punch drunk thing, you know, I think CTE and punch drunk can kind of all fall into the same category. But I mean, you can see it start taking effect in some fighters, but yeah, and that's why you see fighters like GSP to say like, hey, you know, I wanted to preserve my health as much as I could. You know, I liked fighting because I was good at it. I didn't, you know, want to go in there and take a lot of damage. So that is why you start to see a lot of fighters as well kind of fight with this technical, you know, I don't want to say safe approach, but, you know, obviously the point of the game is to hit and not get hit. And, you know, you want to go in there, obviously put the damage on somebody else and not get damaged up as much. And unfortunately, you know, you do get damage in the fight game, and that does lead to some after effects, you know, after the fact. And, you know, we love the fighters for it, but that's always that real possibility on the other end as well, is that they're putting their health and safety on the line for our entertainment, which makes it even more to say why we need to, you know, appreciate that they do this, because, man, it's a brutal sport, and I definitely couldn't see myself out there doing it.
Yeah, Antoine wanted to know if they're going to make a movie about it. I think, like, The Rock. Do you remember, like, when he was like, I'm going to make a movie about Mark the Hammer Coleman? And then everyone was like, all right, cool, cool. Yeah, but Antoine, I think, like, with football, like, everyone played it growing up, and us, like, in the 90s, I don't really think anyone really knew the damage it was doing. As where like MMA, boxing, like you're getting punched in the face, so the damage is known. Like punch drunk has been like known for like 100 years now from the early boxers, so that's not anything new. So I don't know if like that would become a movie because it's not anything new. Like, it's like everyone knows if you get punched and kicked in the head, you're going to end up having issues later on in life. As where football growing up, we really like we have pads and helmets and all this, and like we thought that if we had all this on, then we were safe. But it comes out now, it's like, well, even though you have a helmet on, your brain still rattles around inside your head, and that those effects weren't really taken into consideration with us growing up. Yeah, Smashing Machine, right? Yeah. Yeah, that movie. I didn't watch it.
I don't even know if it came out. Like, that's the thing.
I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, D-Rose?
Yeah, I mean, I think they make a movie on it? I don't know if MMA is really to that point to where you see an actual film being made from it.
We had Halle Berry make a movie with Valentina, dude. That was the worst shit I had ever seen in my life.
To be fair, I still have not seen that movie.
It's terrible, dude.
Yeah, I still haven't seen. I didn't even know the movie was out. So yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big movie buff to begin with. Like the older I get, the less attached I become to a lot of that stuff. So. And again, I don't think that MMA has the outreach to go to the big screen in terms of their concussions, in terms of they did it with the NFL because that was such a hot topic and subject at that time. All the lawsuits were going on from the former players about how they were told this and that in regards to the concussion protocol and all that such. I don't know if necessarily that you're seeing UFC fighters being told that part necessarily. I mean, you can see that the antitrust lawsuit that went on here recently with the UFC, like former fighters and stuff like that, it didn't pan out their way, but you don't see the national headlines. Yeah, the lawyers got paid. I mean, the fighters got paid pretty decently as well, but you don't see the headlines from that becoming national news for the most part, like it was with the NFL concussion protocol. There's two different levels of sports.
Yeah, man, I agree. All right, man. Well, yeah, that's going to be it for the podcast. Different picks this week: Kurt Holloway, Alexander Hernandez, Elijah Zaleski dos Santos, Chidi Njokwani, and Roman Dolidze, Marvin Vettori. Podcast play of the week is Waldo Cortez Acosta and Andre Lima. Or I'm sorry, Waldo Cortez Acosta money line and Andre Lima 3 or decision. Waiting on that 3 or decision to pop up, and then we'll get that bet. Let's see. Or here we go. Like what you say, Tony Ferguson has shown recent signs of CTE, not even trying to be funny. Man, I think Tony was a kind of like always kind of like a fucking kooky guy, because we saw him on the on fucking Tough, and he's fucking weird then too. So I think some people are just predisposed to being weird, man.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, but you can see it even a little more now in Tony than what it was before. And I don't know if some of the awkward, quirky behavior is all just him being socially awkward. You know what I mean? So Austin does bring up a good point with it. Or Antoine does bring up a good point with it.
I heard recently that Tony changed managers recently because that same guy like that manages him also fucking manages like a ton of MLB players, and it's his thought that he's like fucking going to get a tryout like with an MLB team after he's done fighting, and that's why he has his fucking manager. I was like, Jesus Christ! But would it surprise you? Deadass, would that surprise you if like that was his thought?
Yeah, no. I mean, no. And the worst part is he probably does believe that. Like, legit, he probably does believe that. Of course, nobody else does is the bigger problem. And again, leads to Antoine's question.
Yeah,
you can kind of see it in Tony Ferguson now. Like I said, it's more blatant now than what I ever thought it was.
Yeah, man. But that's going to be it for the show. We appreciate you guys for stopping by here. Thanks for the Antoine. Thanks for the questions tonight, Antoine, at the end of the show. Me and D-Rose usually talk for about a half hour after the show's over anyway, just about random bullshit. So you were able to help us chat a little bit so we can just get off here because you boys got to work in the morning. I got to go to bed. Tony loves being an athlete. That does something to you. I agree. And then Antoine, God bless you guys. Hell yeah, Antoine. Thank you for stopping by tonight, brother. With that being said, y'all hit that thumbs up button for your boys if you haven't already on y'all's way out. And, after the stream ends, leave us a comment, do all that good shit. You know how the algorithm works. With that being said, my name is Matt D-Rose on that side of the screen. Anything before we get out of here, D-Rose?
No, man. No. Let's hope we can make some money this weekend. Again, I ain't going heavy, but that podcast play that's going up this week.
Hell yeah, that's what's up, man. 3 weeks in a row. Let's hit it, dude. With that being said, I'll be here Friday for Change of Cheddar, giving you my final plays. Not going to be a ton this week. Probably going to be $10 parlay, 2-5, so probably $20, and then probably going to show you all the podcast parlay, and that's probably about all the bets that I'm going to have. So I'll catch y'all Friday for Change of Cheddar. I'll probably have a new UFC card video out sometime later this week or early next week. But with that being said, we appreciate you guys for stopping by here, hanging out with us over here on the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast, and we'll catch you guys next week. Peace.